Hey fellas, and welcome back to With a Y. Today I want to recount a story to you from the likes of Reddit that you might relate to, but hopefully not too much. And even though I say that, I'm also not trying to dunk on the guy who made the post that much either. This is the story of a guy who posted to r/sad cringe named I Am a Chad, an incredible choice of name. I played Undertale music when I first tried to have sex. If you had dog ears, that's probably a sentence that would have made them stand up, like you just have to look to the screen and be like, what now? And I'm truly not trying to shit on this guy that much, because I can see like shades of myself in it, and I'm sure you will too. But it's rough, and it's especially funny if you've never played Undertale and you have to look up what certain aspects of the story mean. I feel like this is sad cringe. I was like 19 at the time, and I was dating this girl, and she came home from college to visit her family, but stopped at my place first because my parents weren't home. When she got there, we started making out and stuff, and she was like, let's take a shower together. And it's farther than I ever got, so like, I can't even judge that hard. Turns out when you're a robot with no genitals to speak of, it's just not really in the cards for you. I had been dating her for like 2 weeks, and everything was all good. I was a virgin and got really excited. Okay, this is where it starts to get rough, fellas. Lock in with me. Put on your stone faces. We got in the shower and started kissing and stuff, and she told me to put on music. And since I'm a pathetic nerd, I only listen to video game music. So I put on Undertale music because it made me feel really good. And I was hyped, and I wasn't thinking about it at all. Oh, dude. Oh. This is tough because I also enjoy the feeling of listening to the Undertale OST. I also listen to certain boss themes when I'm trying to get hyped up for something. The thing is, when you're talking about having sex, getting hyped is not the terminology I'd personally use. I don't use any at all, you know, robot, don't have sex, but even still, I feel like that part translates pretty well. We started kissing, and she seemed fine with it at first because we were just in the moment. And then, when things started heating up, the Temmie Shop music came in, and that was it. Over. Dunzo. She stopped kissing me and said something like, is this a joke to you? I want you to imagine for a second that you're someone who has never played Undertale. You're just like a general Reddit denizen who's browsing r/all. It probably got algorithmically fed to you on the front page after it got enough like in r/sad cringe. You've never heard the Temmie Shop theme before, and you're like, well, how bad could it be? So you look it up, and you press play, and this starts coming out of your speakers. Oh, dude, it's exactly the same as that CBAT trend was on TikTok all those years ago. Holy fuck. Imagine trying to pipe rhythmically to this, man. That is just an unfortunate shuffle pull. I think there's like a non-zero amount of tracks from the Undertale soundtrack that could theoretically be a part of a sensual sex playlist. Not this one. In fact, I would say most of them you shouldn't be chancing. There's ones you could probably get away with if the person you're doing the deed with has never played Undertale, but in general, I just feel like it's something not worth trying to sneak in there. In putting the whole Undertale OST on shuffle, that is a death knell from hell, if I have ever seen one. I was like, what the fuck? No, I'm sorry. It's just a dumb song that came up, and I tried to change it, and then the Asriel boss music came on. Again, not as bad, but like, this is the type of song you listen to when you're trying to get hyped for something that isn't this sensual? That said, bussing right at the fucking downbeat of that has to feel like incredible if you can find someone who's into it. Listen, by virtue of being an Undertale player, you have taste. And the guy fucking to CBAT has theoretically fucked before, so there's somebody out there who would willingly have sex to the Undertale soundtrack. It's not like an across-the-board It's not like an across-the-board mood killer, but I would say in most cases it is. For this guy, it just didn't work out. At that point, she was really turned off and asked if we could get out of the shower. She went into my bedroom to dry off with the towel that we were sharing, so I was standing in the shower cold, holding my phone with the Undertale song paused halfway through. Fuck, dude, that is rough. That is, like, rough. She left after that and just ghosted me because she thought I was so weird. Okay, I understand, like, why you jumped to that conclusion because you were really embarrassed by that whole thing, but if she ghosted you and didn't say anything, her thinking you're weird, definite possibility, but she could have also been equally embarrassed if you're like both fucking like people doing this for the first time as like young adults. She texted me once to say happy birthday, but I couldn't bring myself to respond because I felt so fucking weird. Ah, man, I've been there. Not with, you know, the sex stuff, but moments that I embarrassed myself about like years ago that I still think about to this day. And this part is the most heartbreaking to me because I can't even listen to the Undertale music anymore because it just reminds me of that. Fuck, dude, that's like the worst version of having a band you got into because of an ex you had be ruined. If I had the Undertale OST for ruined for me, man, I think that would genuinely like alter the trajectory of my life in a meaningful way. Like that shit means something to me, man. I cannot be risking that type of shit being ruined for me. I literally lay awake at night wondering what would have happened if I had just asked her for a song suggestion or something and cringe internally. Yeah, so slightly relatable story, hopefully not too relatable to any direct experiences you have. And I'm gonna throw this guy a bone. I know people who have lost their virginity to all sorts of weird shit. Video game OSTs, fucking episodes of Family Guy, specific Family Guy gags that they are reminded of whenever they think of how they lost their virginity or even how they have sex. Like me saying that you're not alone in this feeling and that there's a future beyond it, people go on to lay pipe despite these first-time embarrassments. I know it doesn't make the embarrassment or cringe go away, but it's not the end of the world, which also doesn't help when I say it at all. In fact, the way this guy continues to think about this moment and heavily associates it with listening to the Undertale soundtrack at all, it's rough, but in some ways it reminds me about how I can get with certain things regarding my OCD. I'm not diagnosing this guy, but I just feel heavy on that shit where it's just you can't stop thinking about certain things. And you know, the comments are a mixture of people who are simultaneously feeling for this guy who didn't really do anything malicious or wrong. Well, like wrong in the sensual sense probably, but you more empathize with his position, but you can't help but laugh because of the absurdity. I feel so bad for you, man, but this shit is almost certainly gonna end up on r/copy pasta. I had to look up the song because I had no idea, and now I'm crying from laughter. I feel really bad for the guy who confessed this, but I'm gonna be honest, if I was this guy, you probably couldn't get this out of me if you were Batman beating the shit out of me and breaking all of my fingers individually. Maybe the few comments he did get that were genuine pieces of advice or encouragement that like, listen, this is pretty bad, but it happens, might have made him feel slightly better about the predicament. A word of advice, one cringe music listener to another, always make a normal playlist just in case, bro. You need some Bryson Tiller in that shit. You can probably search for a pre-made playlist like this on Spotify if you have absolutely no idea where to start with this sort of thing. Oh, this fucking person is trying to sabotage them. Agreed. Don't forget to have bangers on there, such as Seabat, Hudson Mohawk. Dude, I'm putting some fucking excision in that bitch. I'm putting hardstyle and funk edit music inside my sex playlist. That's gonna get me across the finish line with whoever I swipe on Tinder with. The funniest part is people with Deltarune and or Undertale profile pictures also laughing at this, because it is kind of funny on its first read if you know what the Thames Shop song is by heart. I'm actually not sure which is funnier, knowing what that song is or the laughter you'll feel when you hear it for the first time when you're waiting in suspense to find out. This is the funniest thing I've ever read, I'm sorry. And just a fucking dot from I Am a Chad. I'm so sorry, man. I'm really fucking sorry. That said, what you can give this guy is him being authentic about this in a way that most people on Reddit who just farm for karma probably aren't. In a sea of fake engagement-based posts, this seems genuine and it's relatable. We all have awkward shit we've done that haunts us. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for your support, bro. Much love. Sending you hopes and dreams, brother. This 100% could have been me if the era I obsessively listened to the Undertale soundtrack was shifted a couple years further. Really feel for OP and hope he recovers so he can appreciate Toby Fox's fantastic composition once more. Seabat Incident Part 2. I think this, like, should give the guy some hope that, like, listen, you're considered part 2 of a guy who this already happened to? And I'd argue the situation the Seabat guy put himself to is much more embarrassing. Holy shit, bro. Thanks for putting this out there. If it makes you feel any better, one time a girl was about to have sex with me, and I got so nervous that I ran to the bathroom and threw up. I was 18 at the time. I mean, there's, like, a very common thing you'll hear from people who have, you know, lost their virginity saying, yeah, the first time is more than likely going to suck complete ass. Like, it's going to be embarrassing and or awkward because neither of you know what you're doing if you're both virgins. I still don't know what I'm doing, bro. I think it might be too late at this point. And this is, I don't know if this is supportive or fucking evil. You have In the Name of Justice over here saying, hoy, like Timmy does in the fucking game. Not Richard Nixon, very suspicious, just says, dog. Dog. You have a person who tried to reason out this scenario from the perspective of the girl, maybe, like where maybe you were both just equally embarrassed. I feel like if this happened to me with a boy, I would just be like, lol, let me pick the music actually, and let him save face. The situation totally could have been smoothed over, but I think she was also just young and embarrassed. Her "is this a joke to you" line makes me think it was more so that she thought you didn't like her or didn't take her seriously or something than it was about the music itself. I don't know, I feel like this could have easily been a minor goof up instead of something that haunts you forever if you were both a bit older, less secure, and not so much in your heads about stuff. I just don't really think that this is as egregious as you think if you just take a minute to think about why things turned out the way they did, instead of focusing so much on her reaction or the hindsight of knowing Undertale music isn't sexy. I'm howling, bro. I am a Chad, and then this. Every sentence was another bat to the knees, swear to God. Should have put on Gula Day or Spook Tune. As devastating as it might have been at the time, it's objectively a funny story to tell 10 years after the fact. This is true. There is always a life after your worst moment, even if it's like very innocuous, most embarrassing moment. That can become a funny bit later on in life. And you know, some people have been able to secure the bag doing what you did, or an equivalent of it, like I said earlier. I once had sex to Minecraft song parodies playing in the background. We recorded it and everything. That was my degenerate era for sure. I don't talk to the guy who was involved anymore though, but mostly because he was obsessive and really delusional. The Minecraft parodies had nothing to do with it. I've had people tell me that they've had sex to my videos in the past. I'm really not sure how to feel about that. It makes me feel like a filler movie you put on Netflix in the background while you're mostly just trying to shoot the shit with someone and feel each other out. And you know what? I'm happy to serve as that function if it's possible at all. Though they have said that like random one-liners I've said have sometimes taken them out of the mood and make them have to be going, what the fuck did he say? I endeavor to continue to have more of those in the future. Driving in my car. Okay, yeah, would that be better or worse than Tem's Shop to, like, accidentally have come on? This is why I only fuck to the BFG division or the Guilty Gear soundtrack. Sounds like you just didn't have enough determination. Was having a bad day, this gave me a grin, thanks. It is crazy how, like, somebody telling you one of the most embarrassing moments of their life can, like, make your bad day turn around completely. I hope any embarrassing thing I've admitted to on this channel has helped y'all in that regard. Anyways, that's all I got. That kwytebox email is in the description if you guys want to send me any video topics. Anyways, piss on.